Live from Capitol Hill, it's War Room 2020, Friday, 21st of February, Year of Alert 2020. It's episode 11 here with live with Jason and Raheem. 255 in a wake-up, 255 in a wake-up to Election Day. On the John Fredericks Radio Network, Salem broadcasting throughout the nation, America's voice, the platform for the Trump movement. I saw that tremendous rally in Colorado Springs, Colorado last night. We'll get into some certain riffs last night. It's like surreal. It's like watching a surrealist. It's just following how Trump connects it all. All these dots connected. You gotta follow along at home. On 99.1 FM in Chicago and 103.9 in the Chicago suburbs. We'll have some more stations, big stations, in the next couple of weeks. And I just want to thank everybody in Chicago, the Windy City, the city of big shoulders. Okay, dust up in the desert. It's still going to. Here's what I like about Pocahontas. She's running up the score, isn't she? She's like a dog with a bone.
She absolutely is. And the way that she hammered Bloomberg in the debate, going after the NDA issue, but then yesterday, she got up Thursday morning, was going after him again. Then she went into the CNN town hall last night and still kept hitting him over and over and over, not letting this thing go.
It's the $5 million she raised overnight. She realized she's in now for the kill.
And the thing is, I mean, the wheels are starting to come off the bus on this thing with regard to Bloomberg. His own congressional endorsers, Max Rose from Long Island, Josh Gottheimer from Colorado, they're on cable TV yesterday saying, go and free the women, let them go and talk. And these are Bloomberg's own endorsers going on cable TV.
Max Rose is the first guy that came out for him, right?
He was the first one that did, and they're out there. I mean, they're completely in the mumble tank on this. The headlines today are still terrible 2 days later. I mean, the opinion pieces out there. Frank Bruni's out with a piece in the New York Times. Despite his billions, Bloomberg bust. Finley in Detroit News, Bloomberg flops in debate debut. But the actual day two stories are brutal. Washington Post headline: one, Mike Bloomberg spent $340 million on carefully polished ads. The other, Mike Bloomberg stepped on stage in Wednesday's debate. And then New York Post: Bloomberg campaign scrambles to spin brutal debate performance. But then the New York Times, and this one's the actual kick to the midsection: how Bloomberg bungled the debate that had been prepped for. And the quote in here: but Mr. Bloomberg's debate performance on Wednesday proved so lackluster that both supporters and rivals counted themselves taken aback, leaving his campaign more rattled than any point since he entered the race. While Bloomberg sought to project a steely calm on Thursday during a swing through Utah, he and his team have been left to explain away a come down that exposed some of his gravest liabilities.
But this is why it's malpractice. It's not about the performance on stage. As pathetic as that was, he had a can't be bothered. Let's get back to the heart of it. This guy has some issues, as all these candidates do, as Donald J. Trump did, right? This was not, for all the money he spent for these guys, Wolfson and the campaign manager, all this staff, it's not prepping him for the debate. It's getting down to the thing itself. The thing itself is the women in the NDAs. And here's what, it's not just, right now they're focused on the corporate side, Bloomberg LP. What about the personal side? You have to be able to get in there and think strategically. I mean, this is a debacle because free the women is now, it's not a meme, it's a narrative. He's going to have to address this. It's not about he's going to have more fire and he's now thinking of taking it to Bernie more. That's all irrelevant. That's nice, but the beating heart of this thing gets down to Michael Bloomberg and people. And it's not just the way he projects into an audience and connects. It's people that have either worked with him or worked around him or he's had other associations with that have these NDAs, right? And now you're in the Me Too, and I say, up in the Me Too movement, it's really the Time's Up movement. It's the end of the patriarchy. Remember, I've been talking about this from day one. It's the end of the patriarchy. One of the reasons Trump triggers them so badly, because nobody can figure out with Trump's policies, how does he trigger them so badly? It's the patriarchy. That's what this Me Too is the subset of the Time's Up movement. Bloomberg has to know, and you have to be able to tell him, hey, you're coming right into, this is not a headwind. This is a win sheer. Okay, this is a win sheer. We got to address those NDAs. We've got to address, Max Rose and these guys are saying, hey, the reason Max Rose is doing it, Max Rose understands even if Bloomberg puts in $5 million in Staten Island to help him, if he's not freeing these women, you're not going to win. Well, the Democrats, there's enough Democratic women are just going to say, not for me at this time. I'm going to pass this time. 10 or 15% of that, and Max Rose is done.
ABC News is reporting.
Am I wrong here?
No.
What are we missing here?
No, you're spot on.
You're being uncharacteristically quiet.
Being characteristically quiet. I'm taking it all in. Here's the thing. I'm trying to make some conclusions as to what you're saying, and I want to ask you some questions as well, because you were one of the guys in the room on the Billy Bush weekend, and the only person who said no, you're going to win, Mr. Candidate
It's not
Trump.
what the election's about, but that was different. That's
my
as
question
Jason
for
knows.
you.
It's locker room. That's locker room banter. That's offhand comments. This is it's cruel and premeditated what he said at the company. But obviously, cruel, premeditated, and over a long period of time, okay? And those lines are cruel, premeditated, and has duration. Therefore, he's a smart corporate guy. He signed, and look, you've done this for a living with these corporate guys and these corporate things. They need protection. That's fine. But in an era, and Reince Priebus would always say it, everything comes out. It all comes out. So you might as well get it out and get it thoroughly. Here's the problem I have with that. Whether it comes out or doesn't come out, there's no serious thinking in back of this. His Achilles heel is, I guess the arrogance is so much and they're so afraid to confront him. It's not about him staying on the stage and being disengaged, okay? You can correct for that. This is about down to the fundamental heart of it. And you said Wolfson's now taking thing. In that inner circle, what you need to be able to, particularly in this environment, where not only do you have Bernie in a movement that you have to go against, but then you got to pivot and come against Trump and the Trump movement and Trump personally, who is like anybody else in political history. You have to think this through. And here they are. They are flapping around, and they have not, and under fire. Because remember, all these campaigns, that's what Billy Bush Weekend says. If you study warfare, if you study these campaigns, they all come down to a couple of decisions in the heat of it when you get imperfect information. One way goes to victory, the other way goes to defeat. And you know how hard it is to make it when the whole world's coming down on you, right? You've got a million different things. You've got the media all over you, and you got to think now. And you can tell they haven't thought this through.
No,
That's the
and
killer.
here's the thing. Next Tuesday, you have the debate in South Carolina. There's another one of these coming up. And if you don't think that Elizabeth Warren is hyped and she is amped and she's had 15 Red Bulls and she's going to go and take it out on
And they're going
Bloomberg's
to put her
face,
right next to, and that was all pre-planned by NBC. They're going to put her right next to Bloomberg, right? Because they want another 25 million people, 30 million people are going to tune in.
Oh, and you got to think that's the first question. They're just going to go over. They're
Big time. That's the only question. Just let's go to that.
It'll be like the proverbial.
Throw it out there.
Question number one is, "Hi, we'd like to introduce." I want to ask him this question, just hitting him. But here's the other thing.
Free the women.
ABC News is reporting that they've spoken with several of the women who've signed the NDAs, who are afraid right now to come forward. They will be coming forward before Super Tuesday.
100%.
Between the Warren, between that, and by the way,
They're coming. Hold on. A couple of those are going to come out or leak out before the South Carolina debate. Don't you think they'll tease a little bit with that?
But Steve, to your point, if Bloomberg and his campaign can't go and grab this and package it and find a way to just go and say, look, here the mistakes were made. Here's what I think going forward. Here's the narrative that's about being Donald Trump. How they go and package this and acknowledge it. If they can't do that within this next couple days here, I mean, I think they're going to be in
the malpractice
here.
And I think, and I don't say this easily because I know in these campaigns it's very difficult to let people go and bring people in when you're in the middle of it. It's like trying to change a jet engine in flight. But there's got to be some serious thinking over there. Is he getting the correct? This is beyond malpractice. They have not thought this through, right? And right now they have Elizabeth Warren, everything. His argument that I'm the guy that can galvanize everybody else. I think the air could come out of that very quickly. And leave the open for, hey, just saying, crooked. Crooked's in the bullpen, right? Crooked's in. Why not? This thing's a crash and burn, right? Her old boy, Wolfson. Wolfson is at least stepping up and trying to take responsibility for this, right?
Yeah, that's Howard Wolfson, senior advisor. He's out there saying, you know what? I led debate prep. This is on me. This is my fault. You don't hear that from Shiki. You don't hear that from some of the other advisors that are out there.
What you're saying is this is more than about debate prep. This is campaign prep.
That's what I'm saying. This is more than performance. This gets down to the heart of what we are trying to do and what are the obstacles to that. The obstacles of that. This guy comes with a deep history. Here's the other thing, and we got a minute left. We're going to come back and I want the audience engaged in this. Remember, the purpose of this show, like the old shows I used to do, is that we're going to lay out a bunch of facts and analysis. We want to hear the opinions from people. Because I got to tell you, I've been up in New York during the pandemic for the last couple of days, but I went on the Twitter. The response from the audience is so savvy. This is what I said. When I left the radio show Breitbart and went to the campaign, I told people I didn't have to come up with any ideas. It was all the audience that had given us the ideas. The deplorables, vox populi. The people have a great common sense and understanding of this. All you got to do is coach them up a little bit, and that's what we're going to try to do here in the show. Okay, I want to come back. I want to go back, and let's pull it. Sheiky, he put a shot across Bernie's bow about Bernie having, all kind of problems, and he started it. He put the shot across the bow. That's when we come back on episode 11 of War Room 2020. You got Jason, Steve, and Raheem. Raheem, how can people get to, particularly on the Twitter, how do they get to us?
Yeah, the hashtag is hashtag War Room 2020. Tweet at us, and we'll engage with you right live.
Back in a second.
War Room 2020. Bannon, Miller, Kassan.
Episode 11, live from Capitol Hill. It's War Room 2020. Let's get back into it. Okay, this thing is, and this is about how campaigns run. One of the things we're trying to do here is a workshop every day about not just chase the news of the day, but to really get down to what it means to, what victory means on something like November 3rd and what defeat means. What's the old saying, Raheem, when Napoleon told his marshals, when you set out to take Vienna, take Vienna.
Napoleon said that?
Napoleon said to
I
his
thought
marshals.
Jennifer Rubin said that.
It was Jennifer Rubin, and she doesn't even give me a shout out. Jennifer, come on, girl. What is she? Okay, let's go back. This is deeper than performance. This is malpractice at a very deep level, and this sometimes shows you how money covers up other mistakes. You always got to run. You got to stay hungry. You got to run with the no huddle offense, and you got to run like you've got no money.
Well, here's the thing. There's just no rationale for Mike Bloomberg's candidacy other than he has a bunch of money. And they haven't established anything. They've bought a bunch of goodwill. It looks like he's Obama's VP running the ads, but there's nothing that actually connects him with the Democratic base, let alone the general election base.
Well, here's the thing, too, is like Donald Trump's worth, I don't know, $6, $7, $8, $10 billion, depending on how you value it, but it's many billions. He could finance this whole thing himself, as you know, in 2016, but hey, he's a tough business guy. When you go in and walk through for him for the money, you got to be, he runs like he's broke, as he should. He said on stage the other night, hey, my dad told me it's better if you're going to do this and win, it's better to do it with less money, right? It shows you're hungry. They've papered up stuff with money. And I want to go back to this campaign manager, who I've never heard of. But this guy, when you put out, and I sent it to you the other day, as soon as I saw it, I said, he put a shot across Bernie's bow. You better back that up. Number one, you better have the goods. When you go to a candidate and say, I've got Oppo that is disqualifying, because what you're saying, you're basically implying to the people that Clinton had this in 2016 and never used it, and that Trump's going to have it, right? So that is, to me, is so bold a statement. And if you don't have your stuff tightly wrapped, which you don't, this is beyond malpractice. I think they got to think about this guy. He's so far above his. This guy is junior varsity, and Bloomberg right now does not have time for guys. You got guys like Wolfson around. You got guys like Doug Schoen around. You got some pretty seasoned veterans. This guy's just over his head.
And to be fair, Sheiky's been around for a long time. This campaign manager for Bloomberg's worked for Daniel Patrick Moynihan as press secretary, has been involved with the One campaign, has been involved with Facebook, has been Bloomberg's head of communications and government affairs for a very long time. And
But this is a different stage.
No,
this is a
I
different
completely
stage.
understand.
Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen are all in prison. No, they're all in prison because
I got that. Okay, listen. To conclude the point,
let's have Twitter. I want Twitter lit up now. I'm cutting off Raheem. Go ahead.
You tell me I'm uncharacteristically quiet, then shout over me for an hour. Okay, so Sheiky has Kevin Sheiky's daily read email. Okay, and if you read Kevin Sheiky's daily read email yesterday, the top line was this, and here's how you know he's over his head. He says, "You know when you're a winner when you draw attacks from all the candidates. Everyone came to destroy Mike, and it didn't happen. Everyone wanted him to lose his cool. He didn't do it. He was the grown-up in the room." That's the spin.
Weak.
Their spin's getting clowned by the media,
that is clown. That's like a parody.
Weaky Sheiky. I think we've got
Weaky Sheiky.
Book bold Weaky Sheiky out there.
Steve, do you think Sheiky should be fired?
I hate to say this, and I'm not a guy who says people should be fired, but I think in that campaign, the more senior, if you're serious, you put it all on the line. And this is it for Michael Bloomberg, who, some people argue great for, mayor the first couple of terms. Obviously, he's built one of the great companies in the world. This is what you're going to be remembered for. This is going to be in the opening paragraph of your obituary on page 1 of the New York Times, okay? how you comport yourself right now. This is the crucible of battle. If you don't understand, and this is another thing, folks out there about campaigns, whether you like Mayor Pete, you like Amy Klobuchar, you like Elizabeth Warren, forget their policies. Primaries have a reason. You've done this for a living. Those are hardened veterans right now. They're in each other's grill. It's nasty give and take. Elizabeth Warren is sitting there, and just like, I got my Mark 1 Mod 0 billionaire right here. I've been arguing, I've been yelling about this for years, and he's right here, and I'm going in for the kill. It shows you how campaigns and how debates, you get tougher, you get harder. You're just a better candidate.
And boomer humor, as Raheem would refer to it as, somebody changed Bloomberg's Wikipedia page on the other night on Wednesday.
Loved it. It was genius.
Yeah, to say February 19th was his day of death. Cause for death, Elizabeth Warren.
we got to put that up. Let's go to what Jennifer Rubin noticed, and other people noticed when Sheiky put this out the other day. Some people didn't, but a lot of people noticed right away. He threw down on Bernie about there's stuff out there on Bernie. And by the way, there's all kind of discussions. Like, remember, the dossier, this is the thing about combing the dossier. They humped that dossier for a year beforehand. The media wouldn't touch it because it was all phony. It was all fake news. It couldn't be touched up. But we heard that all the time. They're running around with all these kind of, big exposés. 99% of it is always BS, right? And they've been running around on this on Bernie. But that guy literally officially did it. When your campaign manager does it on the morning of the first debate that you're going to stand up there, that has to be thought through. That's a corporate decision. The candidate, Michael Bloomberg, has to sign off on that, okay? So the candidate, Michael Bloomberg, I don't see any way that he doesn't get jammed up to release these NDAs.
So just to let people in on the thing, if anybody didn't see, the tweet you're referring to is from Kevin Sheiky from the morning of February 18th, saying the opposition research on Bernie Sanders could fill the empty Foxconn factory in Wisconsin. It is very damaging, perhaps even disqualifying.
See, the Sheiky, this is the other thing you got me. He dissed Trump at the same time. Remember the Foxconn thing? It's really, people argue maybe Scott Walker's not a third-term governor up there. Foxconn is the Taiwanese company run by Terry Guo, total CCP, who's now can't open the factories in China because of the pandemic, right? But he's kind of stiffed everybody on this thing. So Sheiky's got to take a snarky, cheap shot at Trump and then come back at Bernie.
Yeah, and there's a reason why we're still talking about a lot of the Bloomberg stuff, even though he has the money, but his path to victory looks a lot more problematic. Politico's out there with a big story today. Bloomberg quietly plotting brokered convention strategy. And actually, it's not even quiet. I mean, his whole thing is, I'm going to go to convention and I'm going to steal this. And if I can't steal it, then we're going to bring in Crooked. I mean, that is the entire play.
Because
here.
the whole thing is, by the way, the listeners of this and the viewers of this are so amazing. But I want to get more votes. I want to get more voices. Where do we stand with our poll right now?
The poll that we
What's
put
the
out
question?
yesterday, the question was, can Bloomberg buy his way back after last
We want to
night's
hear what you have to
evisceration?
say. We just don't want to vote. We want to hear what you have to say. How do they do that?
We have, the reply to the tweet with the hashtag WarRoom2020. Currently, 33% say yes, he can buy his way back.
Wow.
53.1% say no, and 13.9% say unsure. We've had 924 votes. There's 10 minutes left to vote.
Hang on, folks. Don't give me an unsure. Don't give me an unsure. Take a stand. Come on, you're on the listen to the War Room. You're just sitting here. You're gonna give me an unsure. You're gonna walk. You got to walk outside and sit on the stoop for an hour. No unsures.
Hold on, I'll do the Wolfson here. I take full responsibility for that. Putting that in as an option.
No, I don't mind putting it. No. By the way, I'd like putting it as an option. I don't want anybody to listen to the War Room to use it. That's it. We're walking into a trap. If you did an unsure, go on and undo it and give us a vote. Can his money and can his staff do it? Okay, we got a couple seconds left. What do you think? What's your answer to that question?
No, I don't think he can. I think
You don't think so?
No, I think his money can come in to help Crooked, and that's why I want to get into more. I think
Wow.
this is a play to help Crooked. But
Jason Miller, one of the best thinkers out there. You think already it's unsalvageable
Yeah.
because it cuts to a deeper issue about the purpose of this candidacy.
Never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. Episode 11. We'll return in just a moment.
War Room 2020 with Stephen K. Bannon, Jason Miller, and Raheem Kassan. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Live from Capitol Hill, it's episode 11, War Room 2020, 255 days in a wake-up until the election day of the nastiest political campaign in American history, which is upon us. Raheem Kassam, Jason Miller on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Salem Broadcast Radio, AmericasVoice.news, the great streaming platform for the Trump movement, and 99.1 FM in Chicago and 103.9 FM in Chicago, besides all the Salem stations also. Okay, back to malpractice. Are we getting some feedback now on Twitter?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback.
Can I have other stuff?
most-
All you
most
read me in the break is how stop stepping on
That's all
Raheem's
we're
lines.
getting.
No, there was also a Steve's had too many Red Bulls.
I'm a little jacked up today. Well, I missed you guys.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm doing
I'm leaving.
I'm doing pandemic, which is nothing but more this horrific thing that's going on in China. I miss getting back to the.
We also
2020.
had Brian 2542 say, "Did Steve catch the coronavirus? We hadn't seen him in a couple days."
He was in quarantine.
Actually, I just made that one up.
full
I thought it was
heckle, full heckle.
Okay, so we have had people coming back to us over the last couple of minutes as well. Bloomberg can and will drench the airwaves with campaign ads. That will go a long way toward wiping out debate number one, unless he repeats his performance so his money buys him back in, says Jennifer Small.
Hang on, I want to deal with this right now. Is Jennifer Small correct? Is there enough capital to get around the loop of the mainstream media and playing that loop on Elizabeth Warren to actually stabilize him in some of these big states like in California where you just air game? Since you got a national election coming up on Super Tuesday, is she correct? Can you do it?
I don't think there's enough money to do this. And this is ultimately an earned media problem, meaning the free media that you're getting. And here's why I made that comment earlier about not being a rationale for Bloomberg's candidacy. That wasn't just a quip to throw out there. It's because when Donald Trump ran, he was the ultimate outsider. He was the one who's going to change Washington.
Disruptor.
He was the hardcore on trade, hardcore on immigration. There is a
Get out of these endless foreign wars.
Right. There was a value proposition. There was this issue of fairness, redoing these trade deals that he was going to bring. We're going to do something on the tax code. He was the ultimate fighter. He was the one that was going to get the country back on track. America first. Michael Bloomberg is just up there with a bunch of really nice looking pablum. He's bought himself some goodwill.
There's no value proposition in his candidacy.
Right. And that's why I was saying those. So when you then take hits, people can say, like, if Michael Bloomberg had gone and established, I'm really running because I have this, again, value proposition. There's some inherent need for me to run as a candidate. And he pulls people together based on what those issues or him on a cult of personality. Then when you take the hits, some people are going to make that decision. Either we stick with you and we accept your answer, or we don't. He has never built any of that. And so when he takes the hit, the house of cards falls apart.
Isn't this why the Democratic establishment and the mainstream media think that Bernie's value proposition has a ceiling to it? Trump has basically galvanized working class people, right, throughout the country in his populist right, economic nationalism on the right. He's done that and now has, he's essentially 50% of the country, 47 to 50% of the country. The value proposition for Bernie, their fear, it's got a ceiling to it. So that if he wins the nomination with a plurality, it's not enough to galvanize and to take on Trump. And so that's why they're looking for. So Bernie's value proposition has a limit to it.
Right. And national Democrats are worried Bernie Sanders is going to blow this election. I mean, even take a look at now, new Wisconsin polling is out showing that Trump is in great position. This is huge. Quinnipiac shows Trump is leading Sanders 50-43, leading Biden 49-42, leading Bloomberg 49-41, has him narrowly trailing in Michigan, trailing by a little bit more in Pennsylvania, but within striking distance. But look, if Trump wins Wisconsin, then he's going to be president again. I mean,
it also shows you the value proposition of his right populist versus left populist. He's got I would say, a state that's gone quite liberal and progressive, and particularly with the big universities, right? And it's also the heart of the Never Trump, the Never Trump movement of those talk radio hosts up there, right? They were Paul Ryan guys. They're Never Trump.
Charlie Sykes.
Hater in chief. You got a 7-point spread. There's something that shows you that Bernie, even there, has got some sort of a limit to it. Raheem, how do people get more, and how are our votes going? We got about a minute here before we get jump to commercial.
Yep, we are we're raking the votes in at War Room 2020 on Twitter. The hashtag is hashtag War Room 2020 as well, and of course the website is Warroom.org. I almost forgot it there. We hadn't said it in a while.
Smartest audience in radio. Smartest audience in media.
We've
We
got 11
prove it every day.
We've got 1,100 votes. 3 minutes left to vote, so that's the break. 34% say yes, he can buy his way back in. 52.9% say no. 13.1% unsure.
Okay, you unshores. What are you doing? Give me. Don't.
To be fair, we haven't had any movement on the unsure.
No.
So nobody is
but
voting
I want to
unsure
read
anymore.
some unshores in the last segment, right? I'm unsure. Now, don't come into the war room and be unsure. You got to come and bring it. I mean, seriously, in the campaign, you must come with a point of view and you must have it backed up.
I'm not so sure
That's
about
the quickest way to get voted out. If you don't have an opinion, you're not going to get asked.
Episode 11.
next time.
Back in a moment.
War Room 2020. Bannon, Miller, Kassan.
255 in a wake up to Election Day, November 3rd, 2020. And it's going to be a nasty one. It's going to be brutal. It's already nasty. It's already brutal. And finally, somebody, Johnny McEntee, my man, Johnny Mac.
Johnny, we love you.
Johnny, we love you. So glad you're back.
I'm also
What's
fond
the
of
over
you.
and under? He said, I'm just kidding. Johnny's. There's some leaks coming out through Jonathan Swan, right? What's Johnny Mac up to? Johnny Mac is out getting people's attention over in the White House.
Yeah, this came out a couple of minutes ago in Axios. Jonathan Swan and Elena Treen reporting that Johnny McEntee called in White House liaisons from cabinet agencies for an introductory meeting Thursday in which he asked them to identify political appointees across the U.S. government who are believed to be anti-Trump. 3 sources familiar with the meeting told Axios.
I think I was quoted in the Washington Post the other day. Pearl clutchers. You better get used to it, okay? He's now just saying, hey, I've had enough of this. I've tolerated enough of it. I want people that are with the program. You're with the program or you're not with the program.
And here,
Just 2 sub-points on that before we jump in on this is McEntee apparently told staff that those identified as anti-Trump will no longer get promotions by shifting them around agencies, as we've seen a lot in the last couple of years, and also suggested the
Hello. Hello. I just brought my random copy today. Hello.
for those listening on the radio and not the
Oh,
not
this
watching-
is the anonymous book. My favorite.
which you had some news on yesterday as well.
We're going to get down into the anonymous thing in the coming days and weeks ahead.
The second point coming out of the reporting from Axios is McEntee suggesting the most dramatic changes may have to wait until after the election.
So Johnny McEntee on the campaign, absolutely fantastic piece of manpower, brought back into running a PPO, which is the personnel shop of the White House, and now is really on point.
yeah, and the thing with John McEntee, look, he hasn't had a very high-profile vocal type platform. He's not someone out there on social media. He's not doing TV.
He's
hits.
like Hope.
Yeah, very much so. And I believe Johnny is. I believe he's 29. Very serious guy. I had the
Serious.
opportunity to spend some time with him after
Big
he
time.
left. I mean, obviously, I knew him from the campaign, but we went to dinner, grabbed lunch, did some other things from the time he left the White House until now. Very serious guy. He looks through things in a very serious lens. He's loyal to President Trump, but he understands the overall America First, the mega movement.
He also understands people that are with President Trump and are not with President Trump. I mean, he's got that intuitive knowledge to kind of can cut through it and say, I know this guy is not just loyal to the president, making this like Trump's some dictator. No, he's commander-in-chief. He's the chief law enforcement officer in the country. Okay, he's president of the United States, endowed with tremendous powers by our framers. Okay, he gets the right to pick a team that believes in his program. We've never had this debate on any other White House. Right about we never had this debate about Obama that he'd get to hit.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
guys
if
in
Valerie
Jarrett.
Jarrett had done the same thing, we want to make sure. And again, these are political appointees; these aren't
Exactly.
career people. We want to make sure if Valerie
But
Jarrett
even
said,
the career people, you shouldn't have. They're all detailees to different things. If into the White House, NEC, place like that, then detail them back.
right, because it's a national security threat. If you have someone at the NSC, for example, who's actively undermining the commander in chief, that's a national security threat. You got to get him out of there.
Okay, let's talk about then our brother Doug Collins. Brahim, if you got anything else, let's throw it in here.
No, I just wanted to let you know that since you guys started talking about crooked in the last hour, the yes price on Predict It has gone up 1 cent on Hillary Clinton joining the race. So
I didn't
know.
say I went long Hillary this morning. I'm just kidding. We're not. my long. Get my broker on the thing. Let's go. Now let's shorter. Right.
Also, polls closed. 53% believe that Bloomberg cannot buy his way back after the first debate. 34% say he can.
Okay, we're going to hold you to that, the War Room crowd, because you're the most knowledgeable viewers, listeners in all of media. I want to go to Doug Collins. Doug Collins is a good man. Doug Collins was at the forefront of this fight in the House to represent President Trump. He was one of the guys lighting people up. It was the Judiciary Committee, correct? Is he Nadler's wingman on that? Is that where he was blowing guys up?
Yeah, he's the ranking Republican, so he's the lead Republican because obviously we're the minority in Judiciary.
Okay, the president offers him the permanent, to go get Senate confirmed to be the Director of National Intelligence, which is a post 9/11, all 17 intelligence operations.
It's a cabinet position.
It's cabinet, but it's also, it's the CIA reports to you. Now, realize that now they have a dotted line that goes right to the president, but this is a massive job. This is one of the most important jobs, although people say, hey, it's really administrative. It is, particularly in President Trump's sensitivity about the performance of the intelligence community. This is a big job. President Trump offers it to him or talks about it, and then today, on one of my favorite morning shows and one of favorite people, Maria Bartiromo, he said no.
Yeah, so this is not a job that interests me at this time. It's not one that I would accept because I'm running a Senate race down here in Georgia. He said that this morning. So the president last night on the plane said that he basically floated Doug Collins' name, but obviously had not chatted with Collins about it. But Collins went on national TV this morning. I don't like this move. Look, I've been someone who said that I thought...
And Doug Collins is a good man.
Good man. I thought Governor Kemp should have
There's
picked him.
There's a way to do this and a way not to do it.
Yeah, that's the quickest way to go and piss off not just the president, but President Trump supporters. Why? He's offering you a massive, massive position.
At a time he needs you. He needs people around him to understand what the program is.
And I will tell you one thing: it is that position is far more significant than a backbencher Senate position. Far more significant.
So why is he doing it? Well, in your estimation,
I don't know Collins personally. The only thing I can think of is that he is personally fired up. You must think that Loeffler.
How bitter is this race down in Georgia? Because I think it just went to the top level of bitterness.
Yeah, we're up to here. Yeah, we're.
What has caused that?
I think he just feels like he's getting pushed around. And Loeffler, he must view as being too liberal. I don't know enough about Loeffler's background, but I know that Collins has been a strong supporter of the president. This was the wrong way to go about
conservatives are triggered. Party of Davos is triggered also, aren't they? They looked at that Wisconsin poll. The Party of Davos, folks, you should understand the deplorables. The world's markets focus on everything you do. Don't think you've been forgotten. Don't think you're the forgotten man, because you're not the forgotten man. Every time you speak, the world quakes, particularly the guys in Davos. Talk about David Ignatius literally wet himself this morning on Morning Joe.
Yeah, his column that's out in the Washington Post this morning, the rest of the world is preparing for 4 more years of Trump.
Hello.
And this is basically following the debate fallout and Michael Bloomberg getting chopped up into 1,000 pieces by Elizabeth Warren. Everyone around the world thinks Trump's going to win. But here's the kind of the little bit of the missing lead in this. So do most Americans. At a clip of 49 to 43, Americans think Trump is going to go and win this election.
Well, I talk to the hedge fund guys all the time. In the face of this pandemic where China's in a free fall, they still say the overriding element right now is that the markets believe Trump is going to win re-election. This is the biggest, look, they were wrong in 2016, but the markets think that Trump is going to win, right? And that's why they're piling into this thing, because they think it's all going to be fantastic. Okay, we're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to return with episode 11 in a moment.
War Room 2020. Bannon, Miller, Kassan.
Episode 11, live from Capitol Hill. It's War Room 2020. Jason, Raheem, Steve. We got Bill Gertz. Somebody throw a net over Bill Gertz. He's wandering in here for a pandemic. He's like he owns the place.
No, he's like Joe Biden. He's like just stumbling around.
It's Gertz. Gertz is loose in the war room. Okay, we're going to get Bill Gertz is going to be a guest on pandemic. Talk about, is it a weapon or is it just a virus? We'll get to all that with Miles Guo, Bill Gertz, and company in the next hour. Raheem, I want you to be thinking about, we're going to put another question up for the team here.
Every day.
Great aspects of this. Where do we go from here? Can Bloomberg now, over the weekend, what does he have to do over the weekend? What does his team have to do over the weekend? He's burning daylight right now. They need to regroup and to get very focused on this.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't have some kind of explanation and game plan for how he's going to deal with Elizabeth Warren in the next debate, and inevitably a number of these women who signed the NDAs coming forward over this next week in advance of Super Tuesday, which, by the way, is a week from Tuesday. I mean, this thing's right around the corner. So we have a debate on Tuesday.
Actually, South Carolina's become part of Super Tuesday almost, don't you think?
Yeah, because it's only the 3 days. There's not enough time. It's Saturday followed by the Super Tuesday. It's right on top of it.
For all Democratic voters, you have to understand, if Michael Bloomberg can't take care of Elizabeth Warren, he ain't never going to be able to take care of Donald Trump. So it's better to wash it out right now, right? You got to be, and for the 64 women, or how many women, if he can't handle the women regarding the NDAs and what happened there, you're not going to be able to take on President Xi. You're not going to be able to take on Erdogan. You're not going to be able to take on the mullahs. This is a good test. If you can't handle this at this level, you're not ready for prime time.
By the way, I want to hear about the Ilhan Omar stuff as well, but also breaking news off the president's Twitter feed in relation to what we were talking about with Doug Collins. Trump says 4 great candidates are under consideration at DNI decision within the next few weeks.
Good move, Doug. Good move. I guess he's not going to be one of the 4, I can tell you, right? They'll be up there. What's our question going to be? We got a couple of minutes left here. About a minute.
You can't put me on the spot like this. We've got to think about it. We'll have one up immediately after the show.
Fine. We always do one. Okay, give it to me.
Is President Trump right to have John McEntee go through and get rid of people who are anti-Trump?
Bond, let's do it. I want that up.
That's going to be 100% yes, guys.
No, because the political risk to it. Because the mainstream media is going to sit there and go, you're doing internal witch hunt. This is what the media is going to portray as McCarthyism, okay? That you have to have a loyalty test. And the president's not about loyalty tests. The argument is you're either with the program or you're not with the program. The president needs people around him that will execute on his program. The counter argument, which, trust me, all weekend you're going to hear this. It's a witch hunt. It's McCarthyism. It's a loyalty test. He's a king. This is the whole meme they've got. He's a tyrant, and we say he's a president.
Can we do this one tomorrow? You know what I want to do right now?
Do it.
What I want to do right now is, should Bloomberg release the women from the NDAs?
Okay, fine. Let's do that. We'll do the one over the weekend. Let's do. Okay, you want to do the? I'm easy. Which one? Do you want? Which one? Should we release a woman from the NDAs?
Yeah.
Well, then what's a counter argument? Everybody, all the deplorers are going to say, "Sure, he said." Sure, he said.
If you were advising his campaign, would you say he should release?
Yeah,
them
be
from the
sophisticated
NDAs?
about this, because I'm sure the women. It all comes. It's going to have some gnarly stuff in it. Is it not?
Yeah.
Do you believe this is just jokes? Is he going to prove himself he's a liar? He says I told some offhand jokes. He said it on stage. That loop, you can make a 30-second spot out of this.
A lot of them are talking about the environment, the working environment, not just the jokes. So I don't think it's just jokes.
Well, the working environment might be. That was old school Wall Street on the trading desk, etc.
We're also making the assumption that he actually really knows about all of the NDAs and everything that's in it. He ran a huge company.
Okay, well, back with pandemic in a moment.